Okay, so to start this video off, I'm actually going to address the noise level of the cat clock first, because I think that could influence if you decide you want to make it or not. And then I'm going to show you just generally how the cat clock works, what moves, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about all the customization options that you have. There are quite a lot, so you have a lot of creativity options there. And then last, I'm going to briefly go over the mechanical parts. I emphasize which parts are needed for the model in the tutorial video, in the tutorial PDF, and I'm going to mention them again here because I just really want to make sure you get the right parts if you want to make this clock, because those are the most expensive components, right? So I want to make sure you order the right ones. Okay, so first off, let's hear the clock. How loud is it? Now, in this video here, I'll stop talking here in a second, I have 4 of them running, and although you might think, well, that's kind of loud for 4, it's not that loud for 1. Because of the way the phone filtering, audio filtering works, it's really dampened quite a lot in the recording. So what you are hearing is actually, from my perspective, I think it sounds about like what it sounds like one of them being in the room, a quiet room sounds like. You definitely hear the gears spinning. It is the type of motor. I have went through a lot of different things to limit the sounds. If you watch my full assembly tutorial, I talk about some of the things I've done to help reduce the noise, but ultimately I can't stop it because it's the type of motor. So you can decide for yourself if you want to put a motor in it or not, and or if you want to wait until I find the perfect motor. As I said, I'm on a crusade and I will find it. I will find the perfect silent motor. It just might take me a while. I've already ordered 4 or 5 different motors, so I'm going to test them all out and we'll see, which one's the best. Okay. Hopefully, it would only require reprinting this tummy mount piece here, and the rest of the clock will be fine how it is. So I'm hoping that that will be the case. Let's have a look though at the back and see how this works. Up here at the top we have a mechanism. The eyes pivot with 2 pins. There's a pivot point there that uses the bearing. And here's the gear system. So that's the little TTRC motor. That's a gear ratio of 1 to 220. That spins around 60 RPM. There are lots of these little yellow motors that are way faster. So if you're going to order it outside of the Bamboo website, be mindful. The 148s will absolutely not work. You must use the 220s, so because the 148s spin around 200 RPM, which you can imagine would probably break everything inside, if not the motor itself. There's a little metal dowel pin there in the little gear, and yeah, this is it. It's a few pieces to put together, but it's not too bad. Now you can make this without the motor, and it's still pretty cute. It's just a standalone cat clock. You can also still make it with the pendulum piece in the back here, and that's going to hold the eyes in tandem together. So even if you didn't have a motor, you could sit and fidget with them, and they will move together. And yeah. Now there is also an option to have a tail. You can remove the tail or keep the tail on. Down here in the bottom, let me turn this off for a second. See that little spot right there. So the tail kind of goes in here like this, and then I think I've got that down. So when you hang it upright, the tail is like that, and then it's going to move back and forth with the pendulum, and you can remove it. Whoopsie. It will fall off if it's not held upright. You can also glue it in place if you were a little worried about it coming off. But I did want to make it removable, so you have the option of having it on a stand or, you know, having it on the wall. And then I also have a back plate that can be mounted to it, and it still leaves space for the cables to come out for a wall or for sitting. It's kind of caught up here, but got a lot of these cables. So, right, it can come out straight or be tucked down and be on the wall. This white plate here on the back also does help with the noise a little bit. But that's optional, and it's also a you know, blocks dust and stuff. I would suggest printing it in the same color as the cat. I have it here with a different color just so you can, it's more visible. So let's talk about customizing. So I've made this, you know, where you can kind of make it your own. Do your own. As you can see here, all four of these cats have a whole different kind of style to them. Very whimsical, cosmic, classic, and prime classic. I don't know. This was actually the first one that I had finalized here. You can put a little bow tie on. I also have a plain color one. It's not depicted, but it's just a simple ring. And then I made this little clown collar because I thought that would be cute. And I think it kind of is. So you have 3 collar options. And then, as you can see, I have 2 different faceplate options. This one's more simple, and this one's a little more whimsical. There is just 1 set of hands, though. I might make other hands in the future, but I was pretty happy with how these turned out, and I think they work. As for the eyes, I think I have about a dozen different eyes. So here's some of the ones I like the most, or was thinking they were the most interesting. That one's kind of the classic rubber hose cartoon style. This one I'm just calling the starbursts, and this one's kind of like the trippy eyes. And you can print these in 2 different ways. You can print them as an AMS, or yeah, the AMS. Or, so I also have like a little pentagon or pentagram, depending on how you do that one. Oh, a little star, yeah. Oh, a big pupil. I call this the catnip eye. So this one, so you can print them this way. Not all of them can be printed this way, but this one can. And then you can insert the pupil. And I think that looks pretty good. I think it looks really clean. Most of these ones up here are printed like that. I think these ones are AMS, but the rest of them, yeah, I think they're all insert ones. So they print really fast that way as well. And they don't use up very much filament, so you can print yourself a bunch of eyes and see which ones you like. It's also not too hard to switch out the eyes. So if you get bored of the ones you have, or you want to do a theme one for Halloween or some other holiday. At present, I don't have all of them available as cutout versions. For instance, this one's not available as a cutout, nor is this one. But if someone wants it, let me know and I will make it. This one, though, however, I don't think I can do it. It's just too much detail. I know there's another one. Where is it yet? I can't seem to find it, but I do have another one that's a spiral. That one also is AMS only. Oh, there's a diamond one. So you have quite a lot of options for eyes, and you can do them in 2 tones. I did this one with a cool tricolor filament, so you get this rainbow look, and this is another tricolor. You can just do like the pupil and the eye different color. You can do heterochromia, which is when the eyes don't have the same color. I think that looks kind of cool. I actually kind of did that on an accident because I was just trying to put it all together to test it, and I was like, oh, that actually looks really cool. Yeah, I think that's all the customizing. One last thing is there is a spot inside the head for a magnet. You see it up there. I can't remember the magnet size. I have to look it up and I'll post it in the video. But that will hold a neodymium magnet. And the plan is in the future we can make little hats for it. I just kind of want to just dress it up. So I'm kind of working on some hats, but it's a little tricky because of the top of the head is curved, and so the hats have to be printed, cut like in half, horizontally or vertically. So it's you know, you have to consider that when designing them. But I really wanted to make a little clown hat, so that's what I'm kind of working on right now. And of course, I always open these up for remixes, so if somebody else has an idea, you have some flexibility here. So you can add the magnet later whenever you feel like it, or never add it if you don't want to. I really would love to see these if you make them, so you can post them on Maker World, and you can also tag me on Instagram. I think my Instagram information's on Maker World. I spent a lot of time designing these, and as I said, I'm still working on finding maybe a potentially better motor that could be used. One that also runs a little slower, I think, would be better. I think the cat movement right now, eyes, is like a little frantic, but these are inspired by those old Kit Kat clocks. I don't know if any of you guys know what I'm talking about, but they were cat clocks that hung on the wall, usually in the kitchen or something like that, and the eyes and tail would move. And I looked into those a lot. They're made quite differently now, but the really old ones, I actually did rely a little bit on their design to help with the internal parts because I wanted to use a motor. The newer ones don't use a motor. But I tried using the modern pendulum system first, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work for me, and that's why I went ahead and went with a motor. And I also like the idea of being able to turn the eyes and the motion off and still have the clock running, which is how it's made now. One other last thing, I guess, I'm not making this video too long, is you can invest in a one of these little things. So this is a USB extension cable, and it has a switch. So this is really nice. So the cables that come with the motors from Maker World aren't very long, and if you want an easy way to turn it on and off, you can just route it through one of these, and then you literally have a switch for it. Very convenient. The two main components you're going to need to buy is a clock. You can buy the bamboo one, but you can also buy other ones. I have a description that says which sizes will still work. There's quite a range that will work, actually. And then a motor like this. If you buy from the bamboo website, these are called like TTRC motors, I believe. T is in tea time. And they actually already have a USB wired up to them. So that makes things really easy if you aren't comfortable soldering or you don't want to, or it's already done for you. But you can also buy them like this on places like AliExpress. I do want to emphasize that it needs to be the 1 to 220 ratio. That is the only one that will work. These come in 3 different speeds. The most common one is 148. That will not work because that's a 200 RPM, which would probably break everything. So don't use that one. The slower one is the only one that will work for this project. And it's still, like I said, it's actually still a little faster than I think would be best. But yeah, so that's a little information about these. As I said, if you don't want to use the motor, you don't have to. It's still going to be a cute clock just to have, I think, without the motor. And we can still put the pendulum in it so that the eyes and the tail could move in tandem together if you want to just make it like almost like a fidget toy type clock. Anyways, really looking forward to seeing other people's designs. I'm so excited, really. Because people are so creative. What did you come up with? What colors did you do? Yeah, would love to see them. So, meow.